For you, how did Afrobeats come into play?
Afrobeats came in very late. Before I left Nigeria, it wasn't called Afrobeat. There was no name for it at that time. It was just, we just call it Naija Pop. I think it started with, I would say, the set of them, Daddy Shoki, even though they play more of Galala, those, ghetto kind of reggae. Right. Then you have Daddy Fresh, you have Dr. Fresh, you have Bobby, there's so many, whole of them that I can't even remember until when I moved to the UK. I think the first time I went out, I didn't even know the location they took me to. But the DJ that was playing on that night was Jimmy the Body, the guy.
Okay.
And he was actually playing more of African music, Makossa, and all these other francophone Ghanaian type of music.
Yeah, I did have good mentors who were big on learning things the right way. So not just buying expensive equipment and just playing around with it, actually knowing how to read your BPMs, knowing how to mix, blend, beat match, the right way. Africans, we are known for taking over, so we're definitely going to take over the future.
That's great.
Afrobeats lives here with DJ Who Be Dat.
I've heard about it on my white when it was in Benin.
The thing is, I was working in Benin and outside Lagos, so I was not really known in Lagos. I was called Marcus White then.
You can't speak about the growth of Afrobeats without mentioning DJ Omo White.
You cannot talk about Afrobeats and the development of Afrobeats in this country, DJ-wise, and not mention the likes of Omo White.
As a visionary tastemaker and dedicated ambassador, DJ Omo White's contributions have not only propelled the genre to new heights, but have fostered a sense of community and celebration.
I like Omo White. I think I'm Omo White's favorite DJ.
The series takes us through the experiences from various DJs, and they always all reference DJ Omo White.
Have a big shout out to DJ Omo White.
I met Omo White from Nigeria. He started his career at a place in Blue Pelican in Port Harcourt, and then I think he came to Benin City and he played at a place called So Fine. And I think he was a headhunter, and there was a club open in my street, literally in my street. Just as you're entering my street, the club is there. So the owner of the club brought Omo White there, and that's how we hooked up. Not knowing that he himself went to St. Gregory's College, but when he was in Form 2, his dad had to go to Port Harcourt, so his dad took him to Port Harcourt. So we lost contact. In those days, no mobile phone, no nothing. I didn't even know him, but he knew me. If Omo White sees you, he'll never forget your face. I am rubbish when it comes to that. So we became friends in Lagos. So, but I managed to travel to check out first, like Andy, I'm checking out. I managed to check out first, but when he came, he's British, obviously. Yeah. When he came eventually, we linked up again, and then there's been no looking back. We did a lot of things together when we first started, and then obviously as things progress, he's doing his thing and I'm doing my thing music-wise. We are still the best of friends.
DJ Omo White stands as a beacon of innovation and influence in the realm of African music diaspora.
So you've always wanted to DJ?
I was DJing from 1980.
Where did your Omo White come from?
My surname is White.
Okay.
WHYTE. Okay. I'm from River State. In River State, you have brown,
yes,
you have green, you have yellow, you have white. I'm talking of, we have funny names. The white man gave us fantastic names. He just looked at us and said, you are Mr. Purple. And that was it. And that's where we are today. Okay. But though the Omo was because I was speaking Yoruba.
Yeah, I was going to say, you are not from even, Yoruba.
No. But I went out, I lived in Lagos now. So I went to Port Harcourt in 1974. So from the 1970, I got to Nigeria to 74. I learned how to speak Yoruba. Because as a young man, you learn languages fast. So I learned how to speak Yoruba. So when I was in secondary school in Port Harcourt, they used to call me Omo. So from there, as I grew up and I started DJing, I just gave myself the name Omo White.
Omo White.
And it's unique.
And it's stuck.
I came to London in 91. I was born here. I went back when I was 9. I mean, I came back here when I was 30.
Oh, wow.
When necessity is the mother of invention, when I moved out, I had to find a way to survive, and that was it. Because in Nigeria, there's no welfare system. Like here, whereby if you have problems, you can fall on somebody or the society. In Nigeria, if you have a problem with your parents, you are finished. You know what I mean? I'm talking about then, I don't know about now.
So this was a challenge of you.
Yeah, this was like survival.
Time,
yeah, survival. I mean, I went into it was down to survival really. I had to do something. And he was giving me money, he was giving me good money. I remember in 1980 when I was 81, when I was working in a club called Aquarius in Port Harcourt too. I was earning 280 naira. In 90, that was big. Even people finished. I mean, some people in university were not earning up to that. 280 naira. Yeah.
Per night?
No, a month per night. Now, do you know what that means? 280 naira. That was big money. I'm talking about the Beetle was 1,500 naira in 1976. The Volkswagen, yeah, it was 1,500 naira in 1976. So around that time, the Beetle was about 2,000 naira. So that 280 was big money. To rent a room in Port Harcourt for a month, a room was 10 naira. So you can see that 280. So that means you're using about what percent of your money? About 8% or so as your rent. You know
how things have changed.
A lot has changed. The world has gone crazy.
So then, how did you get your first equipment in the UK? Wow, how did that even start?
I'm not going to tell you that. I came here, no, I came here, I made some money, and I used that money to buy my first 2 turntables and a few records.
Take us back to the beginning, how do you get started, this DJ business?
I started in 1980 in Port Harcourt, in a place called Manatee, and the way I started was I used to go there and go in through the back of the kitchen, till one day the security man caught me. And then we're arguing, and then the DJ came out and said, "What's going on?" And he said, "I should come." And he took me in, and he said, "Anytime I want to come, I should just come and help him set up." And then that's how it started, really. So
you just chose the place, random?
No, it was just near my house. So I used to go there, so it was like a Sunday jump. In those days, they used to have Sunday jumps. I don't know about Lagos, but in Port Harcourt, we had Sunday jumps. So jumps were like from midday till like 7 in the evening. I mean, as a young man about 18 then. Sometimes I used to go through the back, and then they caught me, and then when I was arguing with them, the DJ came and he said, "Don't worry, leave him. It's with me." And that was it. And that's how I started. Then I started going there. Then they closed the place. Before they closed the place, there was one guy who used to come there fine. He used to work in a place called Blue Pelican in Presidential Hotel in Port Harcourt. And he was a DJ too. So when I finished there, I used to go with him down to that place. And then when Manatee left, then I now went there, and I used to just hang out with them. And that's how I started, really. From there, it's been 1 year after the other.
So from there from Port Harcourt, then to Benin.
Yeah, okay. Then from Benin to Lagos. From Lagos back to Port Harcourt again. Then I went to Warri very briefly in Warri. Then I went to Kaduna.
At this time, what were you DJing with? At that, 1980, I'm trying to imagine. Now we all use controllers.
Yeah, I started with, I can't remember the name of this turntable that has a knob.
Technics?
No, not Technics. No, Technics, I'm talking of a belt drive. Technics is direct drive. There's a difference. The difference between a belt drive and a direct drive is that the Technics is very solid, when you hold it. But with the direct drive, I don't really know, I cannot really explain it technically to you. But the difference is that one was what do you call it? The belt drive has a belt.
Okay, literal belt.
Yeah, but the Technics 1210 or 1200 did not have a belt. It was sort of like that is the creme de la creme of turntables. And that was it. That was how I started.
And then you get the records from...
Like most of the records, we were buying them in Ojo Legba, in places like Soundway, Samako, and things like that. And then other people who had access to like cabin crew who were going with Nigerian Airways to America and so on, were buying records and bringing them down to us. That was the source of records then. Then they had a lot of fake ones that you get at Alaba and things like that.
Bootlegs.
Yeah, bootlegs, that's the word, and that was it.
What would you say was your greatest challenge when you started? And how do you see a young DJ starting out now overcoming it?
I'll tell you the difference. the difference is very simple. We had no source of knowledge. You know what I mean is there was nowhere you could go to learn it from anything. There was nothing like YouTube. There was nothing like that. And apart from that, nobody in 1980, nobody knew how to mix. Now it was about that time.
Like mashups or
no. You just talk and then you drop the record and that's it. That was the way it was.
On the radio.
Yeah, but you know, there's somebody now brought a tape from Lagos, from Phase 2. Brought this tape and then the songs were just going without stopping. I said, nah, this is a lie. I said, this was done by a machine. This was not done manually. Impossible. The person was arguing with me till I went to Lagos and I went to Phase 2. And I went to Phase 2 and then that's when I was on holiday. I went to Phase 2 and I saw these people doing this thing. And I said, this thing is possible. You know what I mean? That time I was working in a record shop in Port Harcourt. Opposite a school called GBTC. And from that day onwards, before we go to, because we were in I told you I worked in Presidential Port Harcourt. In that club, the people that were coming there were young ladies who were coming to look for expatriates to sleep with, because it was the biggest hotel in Port Harcourt. So the place was busy, and the person I was working on that had the contract of the DJing and the lighting of the place. So that was where I learned everything. And how it started is when we finished from the record shop. When I came back from Lagos, from the day I got back, instead of waiting for people to pack the things and take them to the club, I used to take everything to the club.
Yourself.
Yeah, to set up and then start trying what I saw them do in Lagos. And kept on trying until one day I was mixing, Surface by Falling in Love.
Yeah.
And then In Deep. Last night DJ said my life. And the two were mixing. Whoa. It was like I won the lottery.
You tried, that was
no, that was the first mix.
That's interesting that you know that.
Yeah, there are certain things you don't forget. That one I will never forget it. Even if I die and they wake me up and say, what happened that day? I will tell you. And it was from there I kept on. So when I saw that this thing is possible, then we kept on learning. Nobody taught us because there was nobody to teach you. You had nobody to see. Doing this thing. So there's a guy called Kachi, and another guy called Fine. Those were the two people three of us were like pushing each other. Like Kachi was the main man. Kachi would just learn a new thing and bring it and say, you know what, this is, he used to call me Unholy Ambassador. So instead of calling me Unholy Ambassador, he calls me Amber. He said, Amber, see what I learned. So when he shows me, I will now learn it. As soon as I learn it, he will look for a new thing to learn. So he was pushing all of us. You see what I mean? Then luckily for me, one guy from River State, who was working in Radio Rivers, Mablas Apoloma Jr., now went to Benin on holiday. And he went to a club called So Fine. And then So Fine, that was the name of the club, Ring Road, Benin. And he went to So Fine. And this man was looking for a DJ. So this guy who was working in Radio Rivers brought him to Port Harcourt and brought him to my house. And that's how I left Port Harcourt and went to Benin. This was in '84. So when I got to Benin, I thought I knew how to mix and everything. And then the man, when he tested me, he said, okay, fine. You go to, you're okay. Then he gave me 2 cassettes to listen to. With this sharp, the double sharp with this thing. So he gave me.
When I was a double deck,
he gave me 2 cassettes from a DJ called Ibukun. You must have heard when we talk about him on the forum, So Ibukun was working in the club in Benin called The Limit. Yeah. So he gave me Ibukun's 2 of his cassettes. When I listened to these cassettes, man, I knew that, you know what? I was nowhere near this guy, and so I was even wondering, why did this guy call me if he has somebody who can do this? So I just went back to Port Harcourt. I was supposed to go back to Benin 2 days later. I refused to go back. I just stayed in my house. Then he came. The only man came to Port Harcourt, and he said, why didn't you come back again? I said, look, when I listened to those 2 cases, made me wonder, why do you want me? Because I can't do anything close to this. You know what the man told me? The man said, you know what? The person that did this was like you one day. Just follow his footsteps. You'll get there. And I said, okay, if the man who wants to pay me believes in me, then let me follow him. And that's how I went.
That's good.
And that was it.
So is Ibukun still DJing right now?
Ibukun is in New York now. Okay. He's on the forum.
Okay.
Yeah, he's on the forum. Yeah, but he was one of the few people that I looked up to. There was another guy called Chuk Smoko, who was a big DJ in Lagos then. Yeah. He too, but he was very arrogant. You know, but Ibukun was, I worked under Ibukun, I was his assistant in the limit. Because you know, you must have heard of Anini. Anini was a robber.
The robber. The popular Anini.
Yeah. When Anini came, all of us had to run away from Benin because there was no life again. So when I had to go back to Benin, I didn't go back to the club I was working so fine. I went, the owner of the limit came to Lagos to take me. So I became Ibukun's assistant. Because Ibukun was the resident DJ of the limit. You see, so when I came back and worked with Ibukun, I learned a lot. Okay. You know. Then the main thing, the main component, which to me is the key to mixing, two things to me are the key to mixing. One, how you bring in your music and take it out. But most importantly, your sound level.
That is a very...
You know what I mean? Because I've seen great DJs, but when they drop, either it's too low or it's too loud, or, you know, so your sound level is very important. And Ibukun was done. When I mean done, even when it's going out, it goes out majestically, as if, you know what, I'm not in a hurry, I'm going at my own pace. While other people, you see them, once it goes on and they look and they just cut it off. Because they feel it's going to go wrong anytime. But Ibukun was so confident of himself. And you know what? I learned, that from him. And that's it really.
And that's how, when I want to mix, I listen to your mix as well. Because you're pretty clinical with how you bring in
I try to be, I'm still learning. There's always room for improvement. You know what I'm saying? I try to be. I listen to a lot of things I do and I say, why did I do this? You know what I'm saying? And I say that not because it's wrong, but because it could be better. You see what I'm saying? And that's the way you learn. When you feel you've learned everything, there's no point. You know what I mean? I look at you young people, I learned a lot from you young people. Every single day. I learned it. I look at some things people that say, wow. I go home and I try it. You know what I mean? And that's the way it is.
And that's a very important thing you're saying, because that's how you remain relevant.
Yeah.
All the years, right?
I've been DJing now 42 years. And it's been profitable. I've owned the club. In UK, it was called Meantime. I owned that club from 2003 to 2007. I would say, and not arrogantly, I would say I've run the biggest events in London, because for a period of about 10 years, we're having an average of 600 to 1,000 people every bank holiday. Yeah, it's gone down now because of COVID and everything. Entertainment is not what it used to be anymore. People don't have the spending power they had then. And everything is just going up. So the last thing you want to spend your money on is entertainment. You spend money on entertainment when you have free cash.
Yeah.
You know, if you don't have free cash, you won't buy a bottle of brandy or anything. You will drink water. So right now, the entertainment business and the hospitality, the whole thing is in a mess. So right now, the business is good, and it's been made a lot easier through technology. You know what I'm saying? To learn now is very easy. Before, it was a real big problem.
So when you started DJing here, did you start you said how long ago was this?
Since 2009, but officially 2010.
Okay.
2010, yeah. So it's been about 13 years. Yeah.
What kind of music were you playing then?
It's always been like Afrobeat, but I'm an all-rounder. I specialize in African music, Afrobeats.
For the invent of digital DJ, the whole thing is upside down. Yeah, because it doesn't take time. As a DJ, as a digital DJ, just buy a controller, pack everything together, then you start playing.